Is Deuce McBride the missing piece for a deep playoff run for the New York Knicks? We're going to break that down on today's show. And then we have quotes from Tom Thibodeau's recent press conference that we'll break down later about Mitchell Robinson, when he may return, how he looked at practice on Wednesday, and if he or Isaiah Hartenstein will start for this team. But first, if you are proud of the way that Deuce McBride has been playing basketball, I've gone back and watched the highlights like 5 times of Deuce versus Steph Curry. And he thoroughly outplayed, in my opinion, the best point guard of all time. I'm still riding that high. I know you are, and let's hope Deuce is too. Hit that thumbs up icon. Show my man Miles McBride some love. Alrighty, in today's video, let's break it down. Is Deuce McBride the X factor to the Knicks? Is he the missing piece? Is he the player that can help solidify a deep Eastern Conference playoff run for the New York Knicks? I think he might just be. What Deuce did versus Steph Curry just a couple of days ago was masterful. It was a masterclass. It was one of the single best performances anybody in NBA history has ever done against Steph Curry, not just on offense, but defense as well. Let's start with what Deuce did on offense, because he was the second best player for the Knicks on offense in this ball game. In the game against the Warriors, mind you, the guy played 47 minutes. The only reason he came out was to rest up for 1 minute to get back in and hound Curry. 29 points for Deuce, 2 assists, 1 steal, 9 of 13 from the field, and 6 of 9 from downtown. How nice it is when Deuce McBride plays like this. He is just a guy that changes the way you have to defend this team when he's able to score like the way he is. He can put it on the deck, rise up from 15. He can catch and shoot from the corner. He can create his own shot. He can get downhill. On top of that, he is one of the best on-ball defenders in the league, and he had Steph Curry in jail all night long. Miles McBride guarded Curry for 51 possessions in the most recent game against the Warriors. In those 51 possessions, Steph Curry, he shot 4 of 13. He also forced Curry to turn the ball over 2 times and held him to just 1 assist. So not only did he make Curry play an inefficient brand of basketball and work for every single point he did, he also made him turn the ball over more than the assists he created. On the flip side, when Curry was guarded by anyone else on the New York Knicks, he shot 4 of 7 and had 4 assists. So 4 of 7 when not guarded by Deuce, and 4 of 13 when guarded by Deuce. This was not just one of the best games of Miles McBride's career, which it was. This was one of the best games of the year for a Knick, no matter who it is. Better than some Brunson games, better than some Randall games, better than almost any other game that we have seen by a New York Knick this season. What Miles McBride did the other night was absolutely special. This is not the Deuce McBride from last year, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the guy that you throw in there and you just hope that he can maybe guard somebody and maybe hit a jumper from deep. This is a guy that when he goes in the game, he changes the game. Look at the stats compared from last year to this year. 3.5 points per game last year for Deuce. But he did it on 35.8% from the field and 29.9% from 3. And he shot just 32.1% on catch and shoot opportunities. And you know what he did? He worked his tail off all offseason long. He slept in the gym. He got up 1,000 shots a day. And the results are showing from 35.8% from the field to 44.8%, to 29% from 3 to almost 42% from 3. 32% on catch and shoot threes to 41.7%. The Angels in the outfield run for Deuce is over. This is who he is. He is a productive NBA player, not just on defense, but on offense. And when he gets the minutes, when he gets the playing time, his just overall output and his effect on the game increases. Look at the numbers. When he plays 10 to 19 minutes in a game, which he's done 18 times this year, he'll give you 5.9 points per game, 1.4 assists, and he'll be efficient. 46% from the deck and 42% from beyond the arc. When his minutes go up to 20 to 29 minutes per game, he's done it 6 times. He's giving you 13 points per game and assists per night, 52% from the field, and a scorching 55% from downtown. When he plays 30 to 39 minutes per game, which he's done 4 times, 14.8 points per game, 2.5 assists, and still good efficiency from the floor. And when he plays 40-plus minutes in the game, which he's done 5 times, his numbers are outstanding. 17.5 points per game and 5.8 assists per game while still shooting north of 37% from downtown. I say all that to say this is not the Deuce McBride from last year. This is not the guy that gave me nightmares for months of the Game 6 performance he had against the Miami Heat. Look at the graphic on screen. This is the play-by-play of Game 6, Knicks versus Heat, where the Heat ended up beating the Knicks. With 9 minutes and 55 seconds left in the second quarter, the New York Knicks were up 36-29. Jalen Brunson came out for his first rest of the game. Miles McBride entered the game. And that's when it changed. In the next 2 minutes and 7 seconds of game action, the Miami Heat outscored the New York Knicks by 8 points. They went from up 7 to down 1, and Jalen Brunson had to sub in right after that. The game was lost when Deuce McBride was on the floor. I don't think that's going to be the case this playoffs. I think he'll be able to hold his own on the court this time. And I really just want to see Miles McBride and Jalen Brunson play more together. When you talk about net rating, which means how many points are you outscoring the opponent per 100 possessions? When Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride are on the floor together, they are outscoring teams by 10.9 points per 100 possessions. They've been on the floor for 155 minutes. When Jalen Brunson and Emmanuel Quickley were on the floor together this year for 377 minutes, their net rating was 1.6. So just a 0.7 points per game difference per 100 possessions. Deuce McBride, he is here, he has arrived, and he is here to stay. And he is a massive piece when it comes to the New York Knicks winning formula. Listen to this. The Knicks are 12-6 this season when McBride makes 2 3-pointers. The Knicks are 21-12 when McBride plays 10-plus minutes. So when Deuce plays, the Knicks win. When Deuce makes shots, the Knicks win. All grit, all grind, all the time. My favorite part about Deuce is the effort. My favorite play, actually, of the game against the Warriors was when there was a breakaway fast break opportunity for the Golden State Warriors, and the Knicks just could have let them run. I believe it was Andrew Wiggins get a layup in transition. What does Deuce McBride do? He gets on his horse, he sprints down the court the other way, and he fouls him. He didn't have to. He could easily let him just lay it up, and nobody would have said anything. He fouled him. Wiggins went to the line for 2, and he missed 2 free throws. All grit, all grind, all the time. Nobody empties the take more than Deuce McBride when he's playing basketball. And he might just be on the second best contract in the NBA. Jalen Brunson is still number 1, but he might be second best. Credit to Leon Rose. And I don't even like making a point of this because I feel bad for Deuce. He should be making 2 times this amount of money. He should be making more than $4.7 million in 2024, and more than $4.3 million in 2025, and more than $3.9 million in 2026 when he's 26 years old. He deserves his bread. I want to see him make more bread. So how about we get him some sponsorship deals off the court? Because his production, it is heavily outweighing the money that the New York Knicks are having to pay him. I'm so proud that Deuce the Knick. I've questioned his production in the past, but you know what? He told me to shut up, and I'm so glad he did. Because when Deuce plays and when Deuce is good, the New York Knicks are going to win ball games. Sub for Knicks Stubs, free, informative, entertaining content every day on your New York Knicks. We'll be live on the channel tonight. Tune in. Let's go, Knicks. Help us get to 36,300 subscribers. We're going to close the show talking about Mitchell Robinson, who returned in practice in a full capacity on Wednesday for the first time since December. And it's good that he's back. It's a step in the right direction. We've got quotes from Tom Thibodeau around the corner. Jalen Brunson spoke about Mitchell Robinson. We'll break that down. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the promo code CLNS. And PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app, will match your first deposit up to $100. What I love about them all the time is they've got specials for new and returning users alike for March Madness. Football season may be over, but the action in the NBA is heating up. And also, March Madness is here. There's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. March Madness has already kicked off, and you can pick more or less right now. PrizePicks is also giving you a free pick for Caitlin Clark's matchup Saturday. Just select more than half a point, and you're going to be a winner. They always do these awesome, fun stuff. They give you great chances to win money, and I'm rolling with the 2-player lineup for today. I'm going to use the special of more than half a point for Caitlin Clark, and I also think Luka Doncic is going to have a big game tonight. I'll go with more on his points at 33.5. You can roll with my picks or fade my picks, but I kindly ask, if you're going to play daily fantasy sports. You do it with our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. Support the show, support the sponsor. Pick more, pick less, play PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. And since I love and care about you, I'll put all that information in the comments, and we'll even make it clickable. Brian Windhorst said on ESPN that he expects for Mitchell Robinson to return by the end of March, which means we are getting closer and closer to seeing the Loch Ness Monster, number 23, back on the floor, sporting the orange and blue. This is what Tom Thibodeau said about Mitch. He was asked, when do you think he'll get back? When will he play? He said, when we get there, we'll make that decision. But he's not going to play extended minutes. He's going to build up to that. Obviously, going to be a lot of mixing and matching talking about the lineup. It wasn't an extended practice, obviously, but he did shooting, he did offense, defensive scripts. He got to go through the contact for a while, so then he's got to get cleared by the doctor. So there's still steps in the right direction needed for Mitchell Robinson to be cleared by the doctors, but him getting back out on the practice floor and taking on contact in practice and not having a setback and being able to do it all is great news for the New York Knicks. We know how special of a basketball player he is. One of the best shot blockers in the league and the best offensive rebounder in the league. Let's not forget, he was maybe the second best player in the series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He dominated Jared Allen. He dominated Evan Mobley. He punked him. He bullied him, and that's why they beat him in 5 games. I also love that Jalen Brunson said, Mitch looked like Mitch. And if Mitch is looking like Mitch and he gets back to this team, the Boston Celtics, you better watch out. You better watch out. Tom Thibodeau was asked, will Mitch start? Will he come off the bench? Will he roll with Hartenstein? He said this, with Isaiah Hartenstein's minute restrictions, it works that way. He's going to play with both units talking about Robinson. Again, once you get to the fourth quarter, you're looking at what do we do? What do we have to do and need to win the game? That's where we make our decision. There was chatter coming out of practice. This comes from Knicks beat reporters Stephen Bondy as well as Fred Katz, that Mitch is most likely to come off the bench the way that Tom Thibodeau talked about him. And I think that might be the best case scenario. I don't know if Mitch is going to get back to 100% prior to the end of the year, but the Knicks were the best team in the NBA in the month of January with Hartenstein in the starting lineup. And I think he actually complements the other 4 in the starting lineup. More spacing on offense, a little bit less rim protection, but more switchability on the perimeter playing defense. Tibbs said this, though. Well, there's obviously going to be a lot of mixing and matching. So it's not like it's going to be all bench guys with no starters. There's usually going to be 2 starters out there. I think both guys, well, we did quite a bit last year, mixing and matching. One guy would finish one game, the next game it would be somebody else, depending on what we needed. We all know the things that Mitch adds to the team. It'll be great to get him back. We're obviously very pleased with what Isaiah Hartenstein has brought. You can throw in Precious Achiuwa and Jericho Sims, who have done a good job. We like the depth we have at that position. That's been a big plus for us. It would be an even bigger plus if Mitchell Robinson is able to come back and be 80% of what he was earlier this season when he averaged 6.2 points per game, 10-plus rebounds, 5-plus offensive rebounds, 1.3 blocks, over a steal per night. The dude was making an all-defensive team campaign. Some people thought he was playing like the defensive player of the year. I'm ready to see Mitchie No Snitchy back on the court this year. Show those 23s, though, in the comments section. Spam it down below. If you're ready to see Mitchell Robinson get back, give me a 23 down in the comments section. I just want to end today's video taking a look at the standings and then taking a look at what games the New York Knicks have coming the rest of the way. This video was filmed on Wednesday night, so obviously the standings would have changed by the time you're seeing this on Thursday, but the Knicks are right there. They're 2 wins behind the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cavs play the Heat tonight without Donovan Mitchell. I'm never going to root for the Heat, but I'm definitely rooting for the Cleveland Cavaliers to lose. People think, Patrick Seaman asks me all the time, do you really want to even get to the 3 seed? That way you got to play the Sixers in round 1. I'm like, as long as I get to hold off on seeing the Celtics in the conference finals when the pressure's the highest and they'll shrink like they always do, that's what I'm looking to do. It's not going to be easy, though, as the New York Knicks schedule is tough the rest of the way. They don't really have that many easy games outside of Brooklyn, Detroit, Toronto, and San Antonio. Because Chicago's going to be fighting for a play-in and playoff spot, and you play them 3 times in the last 6 games. You still got to play Boston, still got to play Milwaukee. The Kings are going to be motivated as you just beat them on their home floor. It's always a rock fight with the Miami Heat, and you got to play OKC, who might just have the MVP of the league this year, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Knicks got to win some games down the stretch, but I believe in this team, And I think when healthy, they're still the best team in the Eastern Conference. Make sure you guys have hit that thumbs up icon. Appreciate you for tuning in. And make sure to follow me over on social media if you haven't, at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, as well as at @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. We'll see you tonight. We're live. Let's go, Knicks. Let's get a dub. We'll see you later.